learn from this CCTV video of the Air India crash? Just from some basic, simple logic. What do we see? The plane's over here. We see this tower. We see this shed. We see this pile of tires. We see these two arrows. One's turning to the right, one's straight, and this one's further that way. So let's go to Google Earth, see if we can find it. Pretty sure I did. There's the shed. There's that tower. There's the pile of tires up there. There's the bend in the road. The one arrow on the road that turns to the right, and the other one that is straight but further over. And then I went on Google Ground and I could spot a tower which looked like it had a CCTV camera on it, and that spot was right there. I then drew a line between the two to get a line of sight as to where that plane was in the distance, which by the way would have been a mile and a half away from the camera that we were looking at. And it gets you to that spot right there. So that's where he would have rotated. Basically just before the end of the runway. Okay, and if you go further out, that's the crash site there. So he was literally rotating dangerously close to the end of the runway. Now, did he pick up debris as we can see on the video? If you roll the video, you can see at the very end as he's going, you can clearly see. Now, keep in mind, we're looking at that plane when he's coming off the ground. That's a mile and a half away. And to be able to see that amount of dust and dirt and debris from a mile and a half, that's a lot of debris. Okay? He's also yawing to the right. Okay, let's freeze it right there. That's about the peak of his ascent. And that took him, I timed it, from the time he lifted off till the time he got up there was 10 seconds. Now, that wingspan's about 150 feet roughly, okay? How many wingspans is he above the ground? I'd say 2 or 2 plus, you know. So he's maybe 400 feet above the ground. That would be confirmed by reports that his pressure altitude altimeter, like transponder readings that they got was 600 feet roughly. Airport's about 200 feet above sea level. That would mean he, by their indications, was that he was about 400 feet above the ground. I'm thinking he wasn't even that. But let's say he was 400. It took him 10 seconds to get there. That's an ascent of 2,400 feet a minute. That's a pretty solid, normal ascent for a jetliner. Okay? So nothing would have been wrong during that very first part. He had speed and power. He lost it right about there. Now, I'm guessing he lost it more from the right engine because he's yawing to the right. From the other video that I seen online from a building top that the kid took, you can see a slight left deflection from the rudder, which tells me he had right yaw from having more power from the left engine than the right. So he did have some power as far as I'm concerned, because here's the other thing. If you time his descent, assuming he was at 400 feet till the time he hits the ground, it's about 20 seconds, okay? Now, 20 seconds to float down from 400 feet, that's a descent of about 1,200 feet a minute, right? That's a pretty controlled, gradual descent. A normal descent on an approach for a big airliner like this would be 700 feet a minute, a descent on final approach. So he's a little quicker than that, but he certainly isn't anywhere close to the 2,000 to 4,000 feet a minute descent that you would have with a zero power descent. And the fact that the nose is tilted up while he's coming down, that also indicates that he's got power. Because if he was nose up like that with no power, he'd be stalling and fluttering, and the wings would be going from side to side. He might even roll and spin. I'm guessing he had some amount of power. I'm also guessing he probably picked up debris at the end of the runway. and that could have been the cause of a lot of what started to happen. But again, density altitudes that day with the super hot temperatures and the long flight, full passengers, close to gross weight, that's, I believe, is going to be a factor. Potential miscalculations of V-speeds and runway length required. Who's at fault? Who knows? There's a lot of people involved in calculating all of that. You need information. It's like they say, garbage in, garbage out. If you're putting in the wrong information, you're going to get the wrong information out. But I'm thinking all of those factors are going to come into play. But like as per usual, nobody knows until we get the data from the FDR and the CVR. Those are my thoughts.